Hi everyone, thanks for clicking on the video. I'm going to have a kind of a mix of a lot of different things in this video, mainly just what's been happening around here in my life since I put out my last video. Enjoy! So, we've gone solar. See the solar panels? Unfortunately, that is not our house. See the solar panels? That is not our house either. This is our house. The point I'm trying to make is most of our neighbors have gone solar. Very few houses around here don't have solar panels on them. However, when we looked into getting it on our house is goofy and built the wrong way. We don't have much roof space that points either south or west, and that's a requirement for solar panels here. We've got plenty of roof space, but most of it points north and or east, and the garage roof is in shade most of the time. So what we've ended up doing is what you can do here in Lithuania is you buy solar panels that exist in a solar park, and your panels, even though I'm sure they're not considered your panels, you couldn't drive to the solar park and unhook them and take them home, but in a sense they're yours. You've paid for them, you pay for them up front, and then you get a reduction of your electric bill each month. And supposedly after 5-6 years it's supposed to pay for itself. I don't know, I'm a bit pessimistic on that. You know, honestly, the solar panels to me are a lot like electric cars. They sound great, supposedly gonna save the environment, but I think a lot of it's, or maybe not a lot of it, a bit of it is a bit of a scam. I'm sure the electric company who is, you know, we went through to purchase these solar panels in the solar park, I'm sure they're making some money off of it. Everybody gets their cut. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Obviously, at some point in time, maybe not in my lifetime, we will run out of coal and other fossil fuels to run the electric plants. We do generate a lot of wind energy here in Lithuania, but not enough to cover everybody's needs. So that's that on the solar. Again, we've gone solar, sort of, but we don't have solar panels on our house. Hi everyone, just out for a walk. Of course, I got rained on, which is normal for this time of year. August 25th. Right now the temperature is about 13 in Celsius. That's lower 50s in Fahrenheit. It's not supposed to get much warmer today. Periodic rain showers, kind of typical for late August, early September. And when I say typical, I'm not saying that in a negative way. I don't mind it. In fact, I prefer this to that hot and sticky stuff that a lot of America gets this time of year. And for those of you that have been following my channel throughout the spring and summer, if you recall, last spring my yard looked like a bombing range or the surface of a different planet. There were so many molehills in the yard. So looking at the yard now, you would think, well, I've solved the problem. I don't have any more mole problems. I wish that were true, but it is not true. Basically, each week before I cut the grass, I go around and I clean up, you know, maybe 5 new molehills. And then I cut the grass and then it looks like this. However, you know, once we get into October and we start to get some snow and or the ground freezing, I don't clean them up. So if we get 5 new molehills each week from October until April, it's going to end up looking back like this. So it is what it is. Again, as I always say, I've made my peace with having moles. I'm not interested in killing them or using poison to get rid of them. So unless they want to leave on their own, I'm stuck with them, and that's okay with me. Wednesday, August 27th, my sister's birthday. Happy birthday, Shannon. I wanted to show you, this is kind of a road that I like to walk on. This is an old sign basically showing you basically a real estate development area. According to this, there's 56 individual lots that you can buy. I think that's a bit of an exaggeration, but this whole area that I'm filming here is the real estate development. Obviously, as with that other area that I talked about in a previous video, you know, at some point in time, many years ago, some real estate developers or speculators developed this to sell, obviously, for people to build homes on. And you can see these concrete lids, etc. They actually have a full sewer system installed. I don't think there's city water or a well, but they sunk some money into this, and they never ever sold any lots or built any houses, with the exception of what I'll show you here. So as you can see, way out there, there's some people working, but they are starting to build a house or two out here after all these years. You can see they've got a bit of a kind of an ugly little storage container village set up. I don't think anybody's actually living in them, but I think that's where they're storing all their generators and tools and equipment, etc. But I'm not sure if it's good or bad that we're getting new houses out here. I kind of like the fact that this was all nature. It had gone wild. It is what it is. On that same topic, if we turn around, you see the big piles here. They're also doing an awful lot of logging out here, which is a bit sad, but it is what it is. You know, that's how it works. If you can't afford to buy up all the land that you want to let be natural, somebody's gonna swoop in and do some logging or start building houses. August 30th. Leaves are starting to change. I guess that's a sign of things to come. It's pretty normal for things to start to change late August, early September. It's actually a beautiful day though. It's you know, quite warm right now, but again, sign of things to come. The storks all flew away about a week ago, and as I've mentioned in previous videos, it's very interesting about the storks here in Lithuania. When they leave, they all leave on the same day, literally. You know, unlike other migratory birds, you know, ducks and geese and cranes, you know, they migrate over the course of a few weeks. You'll see flocks of them flying south. But storks, they all leave on the same day. You'll see them all on one day, and then the next day they'll all be gone. Interesting. And just a quick walkthrough of the flower beds. A lot of changes. Some things kind of winding down, some things ramping up. We're getting an awful lot of color in the hydrangeas. That'll all probably change again soon. They'll start to go brown, but you can see way over there we got a lot of colors. This one, I don't know the name of this little plant. It's starting to finally flower. It's the last thing to flower. Here it is, the end of August, and we're just starting to get some color. But when they're in full bloom, very beautiful plant, one of my favorite ones. These I think are black-eyed Susans, or not sure what they're called, but these nice tall ones, one of my favorites. They'll be done soon as well. We got some empty spots. We'll remove some of these big grasses. We're going to replace them with some smaller ones. Again, hydrangeas in full color. You're starting to see a little bit of browning on some of them, so we're nearing the end of hydrangeas, but things are looking real good. Here's another one of those ones I just talked about. I'll get some more video of that maybe in another week or so when they're in full color. Quite a few of those, in fact. And that's pretty much it. Things are going to change here pretty quick. I'm not sure when we'll get our first frost, but that will definitely knock some of this out. And a lot of big changes here in the garden. You'll see, you know, a few more empty boxes than last time I showed you. Pulled all of the lettuce and greens. Still got a lot of celery. Leeks, great. This is still one Patisone plant. It is massive. We're still getting plenty of these little Patisones out of there, but unbelievable. That is one plant. Carrots, we've had the neighbors take some carrots. We've got way more than we know what to do with, and we don't actually, they don't store very well. We don't have a root cellar or anything like that, and they just don't tend to store very well in our garage, so we pretty much got to use them. They don't can all that great either, unless you really cook them down. These beets will be out of here probably soon, not really sure, but again, everything else is pretty much gone. Peas are gone, potatoes are gone, beans are gone, so things are winding down. And in the greenhouse, again, still getting quite a few, but things are really winding down in here. My wife's done a bunch of picking, a lot of canning, a lot of sauces. We're not even watering the tomatoes anymore. I mean, pretty much what we got is what we've got. There's really no point in taking a whole lot of time to take care of them. We do continue to get peppers though. It's as if we're getting a second crop on some of these plants, but not much left there. Real soon you're gonna see everything kind of cleared out of here, but it was an excellent year. So what do you do when you've got a bumper crop of bell peppers from the greenhouse? Of course, you make stuffed peppers. Absolutely delicious. This one here on the left is in a creamy tomato sauce. One on the right is a little bit drier, delicious as well. Along with potatoes from the garden, of course. You can see the trend here. Bon appetit. And I'll leave you guys with just a quick time lapse of the greenhouse from spring until now. Thanks for watching.